Moikka moi, it's Riikka Kovasin here. This time I thought to play with some Sizzix dice. It seems to be a kind of current trend in the September videos that I think my substrate is bigger than it actually is. Because with this project I created a couple of more embellishments or details that I ended up using because they simply wouldn't fit to my page. But well, let's get going and I'll guide you kind of through it. So first I cut out some elements to be used in the page. I'm also cutting the background for the page and fitting it inside my journal. I got this little folder that I'm then putting together and also these slide frames that I'm using to frame the vintage photos. I got the elements out of craft cardstock, but I wanting them to have a little bit worn look. So I'm inking around the edges for the slide frames and inking the whole folder because I want to then add water splashes to it and raise some of the ink. So there's this varying look of brown then left. I built the little folder and then add the little tabs a little bit later using brads. And I'm also putting together the slide frames with a vintage photo inside. I'm treating them all three at this point, but in the end I ended up using just one because there simply wasn't enough space for all the three of them. To make the brads a little bit worn looking or older looking, I'm then using this tiny hammer to add some texture to them. So dense it is. On top I then add some alcohol ink to try to make the color a little bit warmer tone of metal. Maybe I should have picked up a darker tone of alcohol ink to really make it stand. But on the other hand, if I had this color kind of seeping through to the project, it didn't matter that much because the color wasn't that much off. I'm using a Q-tip to add the alcohol ink just to the details. Next is another type of colorant for the project. I die cut these flowers out of white cardstock and then I'm using inks to color them. I'm first going with these kind of vibrant tones, so there's this fiery red and a really cool blue, but I'm then adding a layer of brown ink on top to make it more vintagey, more kind of weathered looking. I then use the same inks also to the background, but in another way. So I push the ink pad to my craft table and use a really red brush to pick the color up and turn it into kind of a watercolor and add some random color blobs to my background as well as splashes. I repeat this with three colors, the blue, the red and the brown one. After that I then dry the page and mount it inside my journal. Then it's time to actually start putting everything together. I'm first laying this kind of stencil looking layer underneath everything and then put some white or relatively white splashes on top because it's just a little bit too dark compared to the kind of script kind of background I have going. I then again dry the page. Then it's time to build the cluster. I'm using the florals as the kind of bottom layer and layering them underneath the folder I'm adding on top. To the folder itself I added the string and also this teeny tiny tag that says just create. I then use craft glue to adhere the flowers in place, but not totally, just adding a blob of glue to the floral parts. And then I noticed that I only can use one of the slides here, so I'm picking which one to use and kind of finishing it with this little prize ribbon I made. You can also see the clover there because I was thinking of adding it to the page as well, but well, as you can see, it simply not enough space. They would be too busy with all the elements I made. But now I have elements for new projects already done, so nothing goes to waste. And here you have the photo of the finished page and then some detail shots. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I'll be seeing you within a week. Thanks again. Bye.